We are live in 3, 2, 1.
Speech tonight full of renewed hope and optimism for Utah's future.
Governor Gary Herbert delivers his 11th and final State of the State address.
A global emergency declaration is considered as a coronavirus outbreak spreads.
Several Utah cities make the list for best places to raise a family. Welcome to Newsline. It's Thursday, January 30th. I'm Emma Benson.
And I'm Sierra Phipps. Governor Gary Herbert delivers his last State of the State address.
This is his 11th State of the State address in 10 and a half years.
And I give this speech tonight full of renewed hope and optimism for Utah's future.
He started his address last night by thanking the people of Utah for their kind-heartedness, hard work, and volunteer work. He praised Utah's economic position, education system, and Utah's success in the past decade. He encouraged Utah representatives and residents to have better communication and to take the time to figure out fair solutions.
And today, as a result of our efforts, we now have the healthiest and most diverse economy in the United States of America.
Governor Herbert said that more focus needs to be put on employment in the rural parts of Utah and on air pollution. He also praised Utah's pioneer spirit and recognizes Utah's refugees with a standing ovation from the crowd. He noted his history of listening to the people and voting based off of their needs. In his emotional closing remarks, Governor Herbert said he was in awe of the endless possibilities that lie ahead for Utahns.
A new series of e-cigarette bills is headed towards Capitol Hill this legislative session. The first bill, SB 37, would make e-cigarette products the same as tobacco products in the eyes of the law. It would also put in place a new tax on anything with nicotine. HB 118 would require stores that sell e-cigarette products to hold a special license and move vape products to an age-restricted part of the store. Another bill, HB 23, creates a no-tolerance policy for selling nicotine products to children. Another bill headed to the Senate floor would make it possible for police to pull you over and write you a ticket for not having a front license plate. Right now, not displaying a front license plate is a secondary offense, which means the officer could only stop you if there was some other valid reason. The bill, SB 85, would make not displaying a front license plate a primary offense, in the same category as speeding or running a red light. So far, the bill has only been introduced in a Senate committee and hasn't been voted on yet.
Former Utah Valley University Associate Dean pleads guilty to financial misconduct after his wife is sentenced to jail for stealing thousands of dollars from the university. Phil Clegg and his wife Jennifer, who worked as financial manager for the College of Technology and Computing, stole more than $380,000 from the university. Prosecutors say they used the cash to pay for travel expenses and a private theater business. Jennifer was sentenced to jail. Clegg accepted a plea in abeyance. He will be required to pay full restitution of $64,000 and serve more than 100 hours of community service.
Nearly 200 American coronavirus evacuees from China are under strict monitoring in Southern California right now.
The evacuees will be checked for fever and other symptoms twice a day for at least 3 days, as the World Health Organization weighs whether or not to declare a global public health emergency. Mary Maloney has the latest.
The coronavirus is spreading rapidly, we think, in China. We think it is appropriate that our citizens who are in the epicenter of that outbreak in Wuhan be repatriated home for their own safety.
American evacuees from the epicenter of the coronavirus outbreak are now under evaluation at the March Air Reserve Base in Southern California, being kept away from other people in a separate part of the base.
We are going to monitor them for the full extent of their incubation period.
The evacuees were isolated on the plane bringing them back.
The way that this plane was put together, the upper level of the crew was completely separated from the lower passengers. So airflow, every sort of interaction between the top and the bottom were completely isolated.
More than 160 people in at least 36 states have now been investigated for possible infections by the CDC. So is the world on the verge of a global health emergency? On Thursday, officials at the World Health Organization will reconvene to consider declaring one. American health officials are now airing their concerns.
This is a very serious and rapidly evolving situation. This is a potential public health threat in the United States.
I'm Mary Maloney reporting.
The Utah Department of Health is actively monitoring the new coronavirus outbreak. The Department of Health stresses that no cases have been confirmed in Utah. The department also says they have investigated and ruled out some potential cases of the virus within the state. The UDOH says that although it is a worrisome public health situation, the immediate health risk to the general public is believed to be low. For more information, visit health.utah.gov.
The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is sending supplies to China in response to the coronavirus. The church is working with Project Hope to send much-needed supplies to the country. Those supplies include 220,000 respirator masks, 870 pairs of protective gloves, more than 6,500 pairs of protective overalls, and 79 pallets of medical equipment.
This is going to allow medical professionals to have the personal protective equipment they need. These masks will also be given to the general public.
The supplies will help people in Shanghai, where Latter-day Saint volunteers stand ready to distribute the relief. The church is chartering a plane to deliver the supplies from the Bishop Central Storehouse in Salt Lake City. Volunteers in Shanghai can expect a second shipment of supplies later from the church's storehouse in Atlanta.
The Utah Department of Health says that flu activity is high this week. The Department of Health says both influenza A and B are currently being detected. Hospitalizations are on the rise. 407 hospitalizations have already been reported this flu season. 71 of those have been in the last 2 weeks. The Department of Health recommends staying home and calling your doctor if you think you have the flu. They suggest staying healthy by getting a flu shot, washing your hands, and covering your cough.
Pedestrians in downtown Provo are getting help from a new sign. Center Street speed limit signs have a new addition that reads, "Not a suggestion." The sign is placed just below the 15-mile-per-hour speed limit. Drivers have had issues following the Center Street speed limit for years. In 2019, there were 286 citations issued for speeding on Center Street. The new sign is expected to help drivers slow down and keep pedestrians safe at crosswalks.
3 Utah cities made the list of some of the country's best places for kids to grow up. The study done by Brandeis University looked at child opportunity, meaning how likely a child is to succeed later in life if they grow up in a certain area. Ogden, Utah is the 9th best metro area in the nation, tying San Francisco for child opportunity. Salt Lake City and the Provo-Orem area are close behind. The study ranked the 100 largest metro areas in the country, looking at factors like graduation rates, air pollution, and employment rates.
The European Union makes a final decision on Brexit. We'll tell you when the final decision will be made and how the UK is preparing.
A gas station surveillance video caught a man responsible of an arson attack. We'll tell you where this happened next.
Girl Scout cookie season is here, and one 7-year-old is raising eyebrows. Coming up, we'll tell you how she took her Girl Scout duty to a whole new level.
Julie was always a voracious reader. She'd carry 2 novels on an airplane because she'd read one on a 3-4 hour ride. And at some point, I began to notice that she would read a page and couldn't remember what she had just read, and she'd have to go back and read it again.
I don't remember much these days after I read, but less does for me, and I love it.
My twin brother Jacob has an autism spectrum disorder. I remember one moment after being at school all day, I remember him getting into the car just bawling and saying, "Mom, I have no friends. Why don't I have any friends?" It broke my heart. That was the moment when I realized that I needed to do something about this. I needed to make a difference in his life. And I knew that if I could help him find a friend, I could help teach other people that including people with differences is the right thing to do. That was the inspiration behind my nonprofit, Score a Friend. Educating people to include people with differences is so important because when Jacob's included, he feels like he can succeed in life and he feels like he actually has a purpose.
European Union makes the final efforts to finalize Britain's withdrawal agreement on Friday. Those in the European Union had received an email with 4 questions regarding the decision. The responses were collected 1 p.m. on Thursday for the final decision. There are remaining 27 countries in the European Union. The city of Brussels plans to light up Grand Place with British colors to honor the departure. Any British flags in the European Union will be taken down. Mexican authorities discover an underground tunnel in Tijuana that leads all the way to San Diego, California. After a multi-year investigation, U.S. and Mexican authorities discovered a 3/4-mile tunnel that traveled across the U.S.-Mexico border. The tunnel had advanced rail cart systems, air ventilation, electrical cables, and even an elevator. Investigators found that the exit by the U.S. border had been blocked off. Authorities are confident that the tunnel used to be used by drug cartels. Efforts are being made to ensure that drugs don't come into the U.S.
A truck in Washington state goes up in flames, and it was no accident. Take a look at the security video. Caught footage of the camera on Tuesday. 3 people were inside the truck waiting to fill up on gas when a man walks over, pulls out the gas nozzle, and sets the truck on fire. A person inside the gas station rushed out to extinguish the fire, but the arsonist had already taken off. The 3 men escaped with minor injuries, and the suspect has been arrested. A West Virginia 7-year-old Girl Scout takes cookie selling to a whole new level. Rory Clark used social media and her own website to sell cookies in each of the 50 states. She was inspired by a class project that encouraged students to receive a postcard from each state. To keep track of her goal, Rory used this map and checked off one state after another. Her Scout leader said she has sold close to 700 boxes of cookies.
Church leaders announced new changes on ceremonial temple clothing. We'll tell you what and why these changes were made.
This Kobe Bryant fan tribute pays to the late basketball legend in a creative way. We'll tell you how his tribute went viral.
See what temperatures we're expecting this weekend and what'll hit afterwards. My full weather report next.
Okay, Dad. 1, 2, 3. You saved me. Dad?
Are you okay?
I'm fine, dear.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
Senators are getting a chance to participate in President Trump's impeachment trial after listening to opening arguments. Wednesday was the first day for senators to submit questions for the House managers and the president's defense team, but there is still a debate over who to call as witnesses. Karen Kafa has the latest.
The Senate starting the clock on 16 hours of questions directed to the prosecution.
The question from Senator Schatz is directed to the House managers.
And President Trump's defense team.
Question is for counsel for the president from Senator McSally, Senator Scott from Florida, Senator Hawley, and Senator Hoeven.
A key group of Republicans getting extra attention.
On behalf of myself, Senator Murkowski, and Senator Romney.
For clues on whether they might vote for the trial to allow witnesses. Some of their GOP colleagues trying to convince them that one witness may lead to more, drawing out the trial.
I don't think there's a need for additional witnesses. The American public isn't paying attention anymore. They know we need to end this.
But Democrats, in their questions, trying to elicit responses that point to the urgency of testimony by witnesses like former National Security Advisor John Bolton.
The case is overwhelmingly clear without John Bolton, but if you have any question about it, you can erase all doubt.
You can get to the truth by calling witnesses who can testify.
While some Republican questions prompted answers discrediting the House Democrats' investigation.
They didn't even subpoena John Bolton below. They didn't even try to get his testimony.
The question and answer period will continue through Thursday, expected after 4 hours of debate leading up to the vote on that question of whether the Senate should pursue witnesses and documents.
Kobe Bryant's wife issued her first public statement about their loss. Alessandra Harris has more on the post. Alessandra, what did she say?
Vanessa Bryant posted the statement on Instagram yesterday about her family's loss. She wrote, "My girls and I want to thank the millions of people who have shown support and love during this horrific time. Thank you for all the prayers. We definitely needed them. We are completely devastated by the loss of my adoring husband, Kobe, the amazing father of our children, and my beautiful, sweet Gianna, a loving, thoughtful, and wonderful daughter, an amazing sister to Natalia, Bianca, and Capri. There aren't enough words to describe our pain right now. I take comfort in knowing that Kobe and Gigi both knew that they were so deeply loved. We were so incredibly blessed to have them in our lives. I wish they were here with us forever. They were our beautiful blessings taken from us too soon. Our love for them is endless, and that's to say immeasurable. I just wish I could hug them, kiss them, and bless them, have them here with us forever. Thank you for sharing your joy, your grief, and your support with us." Here's how some people have been sharing their support and love through art. One boy demonstrated his artistic skills by making this mural using hundreds of Rubik's Cubes to make an image of Kobe's face, which has since gone viral on TikTok and has been retweeted almost 5,000 times. Another group of fans in the Philippines painted this mural of Kobe and his daughter on a basketball court in the Philippines that can be viewed from surrounding buildings. I'm sure that we will see more support demonstrated for the Bryant family continuing through Kobe and Gianna's upcoming funeral.
Changes made to temple clothing will make things more simple, comfortable, and cost-effective for members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Church leaders say that the recently announced clothing adjustments do not change temple doctrine or symbolism, but are designed to enhance members' experience. Members may continue to use their current ceremonial clothing if they want. The church has not set a date for when the new clothing will be sold.
25 bighorn sheep returned to Antelope Island after previous herds were almost wiped out by a mysterious disease 1 year ago. The sheep released into the park came from Montana. They were all tested beforehand to make sure they were healthy. In 2018, there were about 150 sheep on the island. In January 2019, only 26 sheep remained on the island. Utah wildlife officials hope to eventually add 100 more bighorn sheep.
Utah firefighters are currently helping battle the Australian bushfires. The two firefighters, Michael Doherty and Matt Pipping, are both Utah Bureau of Land Management firefighters. They were selected to represent Utah on the Department of the Interior crew. The crew was mobilized and sent out to Australia 2 weeks ago. The crew is helping to put out the Australian bushfires that started in September of 2019. So far, 28 fire people have died. Many Australians are grateful for the help of the DOI crew.
Take a look at what happened when an earthquake hit the Cayman Islands. This video footage from an office in Grand Cayman shows just how strong the 7.7 earthquake was. Thankfully, there are no reports of damage or casualties. Here we see a 5-day radar of Utah. So today we're going to get a little bit of precipitation, but over the weekend there won't be much as a warm weather system comes in from the southwest. But Monday and Tuesday, a Pacific Northwest weather system is going to give us a lot of snow, and in some areas heavy snow in all of Utah. For our highs and lows of today, We see that in Logan we have a high of 35, in Salt Lake and Provo low 40s with 41 and 40, and down to southern Utah we have 58 degrees. For our lows of the day, Logan at 18, lowest lows, Price and Vernal at 12, Salt Lake City and Provo 29, 25, and St. George at 30. For our 5-day forecast for southern Utah, we're going to get sun and warm weather with high 60s over Saturday and Sunday. But as that weather system moves in, we're going to get a chance of snow on Monday and low dropping to 43 degrees and 39. For a 5-day forecast in northern Utah, we're going to see partly sunny skies, weather's jumping up to the low 50s on Saturday and Sunday, and again, that weather system is going to drop highs to 27, and chances of snow on Monday, and then clearer skies, but lows down to 24, highs to 24, and our lows will be down to the mid-teens, so we're going to get 15 and 17 degrees on Monday and Tuesday. So even though you might have an active weekend, enjoying the sun, enjoying the warmth and that spring-like weather, get ready for some cold weather coming into Monday and Tuesday.
I'm going to take every second of heat I can this weekend.
The cold just never ends, does it?
No.
Very true. And even though we're still in winter, the 2020 BYU football schedule has been released. Find out who they will start the season against. And 3 former Cougars will go head-to-head in the Super Bowl this weekend. Find out who next.
150 over 90.
180 over 111.
160 over 110. I had a stroke.
Your blood pressure numbers could change your life. Lowering them could save you from having a stroke. If you've stopped your treatment plan, restart it or talk to your doctor about creating one that works better for you. Start taking the right steps at manageyourbp.org.
Now I'm, trying to get better, stronger than ever.
BYU has released its 2020 football schedule that includes 3 matchups with top 25 teams from last season. The Cougars will face 3 teams that finished 2019 in the top 25 polls, which are Minnesota, Utah, and Boise State. Throughout the 12-game season, BYU will play teams from 10 different states and 7 conferences. BYU kicks off the season against their rival Utah in Salt Lake City on September 3rd. The 6-time defending West Coast Conference BYU softball team is ranked first in the WCC preseason poll. With all 5 first-place votes from the league's head coaches, the Cougs hope to prove their potential in the upcoming season by advancing to their 16th consecutive NCAA tournament. BYU opens up its 2020 season in Mexico on February 6th against Nevada and George Washington.
TJ Hawes, contact.
BYU basketball returns home to the Marriott Center this evening to take on Pepperdine. After a disappointing loss to San Francisco, the Cougs are looking to bounce back, especially as they will finally be getting back their lead scorer, Yoli Childs. TJ Hawes will continue to play a big part as he now owns the BYU record for most consecutive starts at 123. BYU is 9-1 at home for the season and is currently tied with the Pepperdine Waves for 3rd place in the West Coast Conference. The game tips off at 6:30 p.m. The Spurs handed the Jazz their 2nd straight loss as the Jazz couldn't keep up with DeMar DeRozan's big game.
Ingles comes off the screen and Gobert. And there's Gobert to close it.
DeRozan guided the Spurs to a victory with a season-high 38 points while the Jazz defensive end lacked. The Jazz ultimately lost 127-120. They will continue on the road tonight facing the Denver Nuggets. The matchup will be a battle of top West Conference contenders as they are both tied with a record of 32-15. The game tips off at 8:30 p.m. As the world mourns the death of Kobe Bryant and attempts to stock up on Mamba gear, Nike has officially run out of all things Kobe. When fans search for anything Mamba on Nike's website, they are redirected to a company statement in memory of Kobe. Nike has not stated when the products will be back in stock. 3 former BYU football players are set to compete in Super Bowl 54 this Sunday.
We appreciate every minute of this, but it's not done. It's not done.
For the Kansas City Chiefs, head coach Andy Reid and safety Daniel Sorensen will represent for BYU. For the opposing team, the San Francisco 49ers, is former BYU linebacker Fred Warner. Coach Andy Reid has been the head coach for the Chiefs since 2013, while Daniel Sorensen joined the team as an undrafted free agent in 2014. Fred Warner started his NFL career after being drafted by the 49ers in 2018. In the past, the BYU football players and coaches have collected 41 total Super Bowl titles. We'll be right back.
Excuse me, ma'am. Would you like to have my seat?
A message from the Foundation for a Better Life.
A dog that beat cancer will be featured in a Super Bowl ad on Sunday. Scout is a golden retriever who serves as the unofficial mascot for the company WeatherTech. He's also the CEO's pet, and when they needed help, they turned to vets at the University of Wisconsin. Now, Scout is not only a big success story, he's basking in some stardom and set for a lot of exposure on Super Bowl Sunday. WeatherTech CEO David McNeil says he hopes the ad has a positive impact on animals and people all around the world battling cancer.
That is so exciting. I can't wait for the other commercials and, yeah, the game.
What a cool story. Thanks for joining us today for Newsline.
For more information on our stories or to share them with your friends, check out our website at universe.byu.edu/newsline.
Have a great